Stop for a moment. Do you feel it? That quiet shift in the room, as if an unseen force just nudged reality off balance? This isn't a trick of your imagination. The moment you chose to watch this video, you triggered a chain reaction in your psyche. If you've ever sensed that your life path is more orchestrated than random, you're tapping into the very phenomenon we're about to examine. In fact, imagine seeing swirling patterns in the corner of your eye, a fleeting hint that you might be standing at the edge of an undiscovered dimension. Our next vantage will reveal a luminous clock face that warps time itself, whispering that your choices might not be entirely your own. Because everything you're about to hear is more than a curiosity, it might just alter your sense of what's possible and what's inevitable. We'll dissect an overlooked scientific experiment that suggests a strange reciprocity between observer and observed, where your act of looking might reshape the thing you see. Probability, coincidence, synchronicity. These aren't just words, they're signposts guiding us to a hidden layer of reality. Consider the possibility that your subconscious is an antenna, picking up signals from an unexplored realm, shaping your next thought before you're even aware of it. The deeper you look, the more the conventional rules of time and space seem to bend under the weight of your own attention. This is just the beginning. When you engage with this puzzle, you become both participant and catalyst, weaving your perceptions into something bigger than yourself. Episodes of déjà vu, strange hunches that come true, or odd patterns that link events in your life often defy logical explanation. Yet they offer subtle proof that our reality may be pliable. As we push further, brace yourself. What you believe about chance and intention may never be the same again. Have you ever experienced that eerie sensation when time seems to slow down, as though each second protracts into the next, demanding your full attention? Here we see an ephemeral swirl of cosmic dust in your mind's eye, a fleeting glimpse of the improbable just before it dissolves into the mundane. Next, it morphs into a shimmering labyrinth of the unknown, ready to challenge every assumption you've held about stability. Our curiosity is more than a passing fancy. It's an engine that propels us into uncharted territory, urging us to peel back layers of reality until we find the elusive core. Scientists once laughed at the idea that mere observation could alter the outcome of a fundamental experiment. Yet the double-slit study proved that our watchful eyes can, in fact, twist the trajectory of particles. That same principle might apply to every breath we take. What if your entire reality is shaped by the way you perceive it? If that proposition sends a jolt up your spine, it's doing precisely what it should, awakening that part of you that suspects there's more at play than random circumstance. But there's a hidden cost. To question the nature of your world is to risk unraveling the very foundation on which you stand. Could your daily routines, your cherished beliefs, be illusions formed by a mind that constantly tinkers with cosmic laws? If so, what might you find if you dare to peer behind that last veil of certainty? The door is open. Step through it and see what's inside. At every instance, the blueprint of possibilities adjusts itself around your choices, forging paths that simultaneously confirm and confront your expectations. Each time you pause to wonder if there's more, you summon that hidden labyrinth to the surface. If you choose to press on, you might uncover truths that don't simply challenge logic, they reduce it to dust. Now, forget everything we've said for a moment. What if none of it actually matters? Does the labyrinth of cosmic dust truly unfold, or is it all just a clever mirage? Suddenly, the mind reels at the possibility that you're chasing specters in a house of mirrors. For every piece of evidence that suggests reality is mutable, there's another that insists it's rigid and unchanging. This is your pattern interrupt, the abrupt notion that all your existential questions might be a grandiose distraction. Yet the contradictions themselves may be the key. In the same way a magician's illusions exploit gaps in our perception, life's seeming contradictions could be the hidden mechanism shaping your experiences. Where your senses fail, your expectations fill in the details, weaving coherence out of chaos. But if your own mind is complicit in creating illusions, how do you separate the real from the illusory? Clever illusions aren't simply about fooling the eye. They're about illustrating how easily our brains bend the narrative to fit preconceived notions. Picture a swirling labyrinth that abruptly collapses into a flat, featureless plane, as though mocking your desire for a deeper layer. Or perhaps it reveals a paradox. The empty plane is actually brimming with potential forms. This sudden shift in perspective is neither comforting nor entirely logical, but it's essential for uprooting the illusions that keep you complacent. If your world can crumble in an instant, what does that say about your assumptions regarding fate, free will, and the nature of existence? Now, close your eyes. Focus on the flutter of your own heartbeat, a subtle reminder that the most profound mysteries might lie within. Are you ready to break the cycle and look deeper? Because only through that break, through that sharp, disorienting jolt, does genuine discovery blossom. Take a deep breath and let your mind wander to a memory so vivid you can taste it. Perhaps it's the laughter of an old friend echoing in a bygone summer, or the smell of a childhood home that effortlessly transports you through time. Nostalgia is a potent force because it anchors us to personal truths, even as it plays tricks on the authenticity of those recollections. You see, memory is as malleable as imagination, shaped by our emotional filters. Could it be that your fondest memory is only half true, and the rest is your own creation? Underneath the comfort of that recollection lies an unsettling possibility. Your sense of self is sculpted by ephemeral images, easily distorted as soon as you're not looking. If a single, cherished memory can shift with emotion or suggestion, what else might you be misunderstanding? That subtle jolt in your stomach, the pang of longing for something lost, it's more than nostalgia. It's a hint that our minds are in a constant dialogue with illusions, rewriting the script of our past to fit our present worldview. So, imagine these hidden, geometric voids from before, now giving way to flashes of color that form an old photograph in your mind. Pressing your fingertips against the snapshot, you feel it pulse with half-forgotten joys and heartbreaks. Is it real, or is it a projection of the longing within you? That confusion, that blend of heartbreak and warmth, is the emotional undercurrent that ties us to mysteries we barely comprehend. Our memories, after all, shape how we predict the future. If they are not what we think, then our futures may be up for grabs. Yet oddly, this sense of vulnerability can be liberating. It means you're never fully trapped by your history if you can learn to see beyond it. And that might be the first step to rewriting your fate. Time to accelerate. In the last decade, studies on neuroplasticity have exploded, revealing that our brains are not static computers, but living organisms, constantly rewiring themselves in response to new inputs. Imagine unlocking that potential deliberately, using the swirling illusions and fractal labyrinths as mental catalysts to resculpt your sense of reality. The question isn't whether you can do it, it's whether you're willing to endure the radical shift it entails. Every year, thousands of people participate in cutting-edge experiments that blur the line between science and mysticism. From quantum interference patterns demonstrating that intent shapes outcomes, to psychological studies on the placebo effect that confirm belief can physically alter symptoms, the evidence is mounting. It's as if the universe is waiting for us to notice that we're not passive passengers, but co-creators of the ride. Startling new data suggests that group focus, such as collective meditation or synchronized intention, can produce measurable fluctuations in random number generators. How is that possible unless consciousness reaches farther than we suspect? Take a moment to visualize the dissolving photograph from before. Now it morphs into a vast tapestry of data points, each one reflecting a human thought, a spark of hope, or a flicker of fear. The tapestry is immeasurable, but there's a pattern swirling beneath it. This pattern is not random. It's an emergent structure formed by countless individual minds observing, believing, and doubting. We stand on the cusp of a paradigm shift. Are these findings simply anomalies, or are they the first glimpses of a cosmic blueprint that orchestrates everything from your next breath to the swirling galaxies overhead? The more you delve into the puzzle, the more urgent it feels to unravel the code. Something is happening, and it beckons you to keep going. You've felt the rising tension, the sense that something monumental hovers just out of sight. Now it's time to get closer than ever, to peek behind the curtain and sense the blueprint for yourself. There's a peculiar timing at play. Each moment you linger here, your consciousness interfaces with the swirling data tapestry, adding a new thread to the cosmic weave. The final reveal might be more than a single flash of insight. It could be a slow, unmasked truth that resonates long after you close your eyes tonight. For centuries, prophets and sages have hinted that reality is more fluid than we dare imagine, that time itself might fold under the power of collective belief. Could that be the engine behind miracles, spontaneous healings, or those uncanny coincidences that defy probability? The next few seconds hold a clue. Much like a puzzle that only completes itself when observed from the right angle, the truth begins to shimmer into clarity the moment you suspect it's there. Consider what would happen if you combined all the illusions, memories, and scientific anomalies we've touched upon. You might witness a grand tapestry of experiences that defies linear explanation. The clock is ticking, and each second edges you closer to a realization so large it might dissolve your concept of what's real. Yet it's that very dissolution that might free you to see the world in a wholly new light. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. The best-kept secret still waits in the wings, poised to rewrite everything you think you know about cause, effect, and possibility. Stay tuned for one final leap into the unknown, where everything we've explored converges in a single, transformative insight. The resolution approaches, but it's up to you to be ready for it. This is the moment where you decide, do you let the final barrier dissolve, or do you turn back, content with the comforting illusions that shield you? We stand at the nexus where your next insight might recast your entire worldview. Imagine the tapestry fracturing into a million shards of radiant knowledge, each reflecting your potential to engineer the patterns that govern your life. What if the world is always in flux, waiting for a mind bold enough to sculpt it with intention? That might sound like fantasy, but remember the experiments, the illusions, the improbable synchronicities, each piece a whispered promise that you hold more influence than you ever realized. Now comes the real test. If you've felt the tug of possibility, if your heart thrums with the notion that reality might be an ever-evolving conversation between your mind and the universe, then take a step beyond your comfort zone. Share your thoughts in the comments below, especially if you feel the tremor of something shifting in your perception. Ask yourself, what if we're all threads in an interconnected web that responds to our collective gaze? Are you prepared to become a conscious weaver? Before you go, subscribe to continue this search for deeper understanding. Let's turn speculation into discovery, one insight at a time. Because the strangest thing of all is not that reality can shift, but that so many people live without ever noticing it. Will you be the one who dares to see? Step into the unknown, and let's find out.